Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you all are doing good. This lecture of today, I'm going to summarize the poem "Rape of the Lock." I'll begin with Canto 1 and try to, sum up all the cantos in upcoming audio through upcoming audio clips. And as you already know, that this poem is an mock epic poem, and the very characteristic of epic poetry is to invoking the muses, right? So in this poem also we see that the poem starts with a invoking. This poem gets started with an invocation of a muse, and the writer Alexander Pope invokes the muse of poetry. And who is this muse of poetry? Actually, in third line of Canto 1, Alexander Pope wrote, I sang this verse to Carol, muse is due. So what he is doing here, he is basically invoking a muse of poetry. And who is the goddess of poetry? Who is the muse of poetry? It's Calliope, Calliope, Calliope. Calliope is muse of poetry in Greek mythology. With the explanation of this Canto 1, I'll be telling all the important quotations or the lines or couplets of this poem from each and every canto. That I believe that these canto is important you to remember, or you better be remembering these lines. I'll be just mentioning all of these. Okay, you better be careful with everything I'm mentioning in this audio clip. I want you to open your text and have a look of the very first lines, very first couplet of the poem, The Rape of the Lock. If I read from the text, it is Canto 1, line number 1, or a first couplet of the poem. It goes like, quote, but dire offense from amorous causes springs. What mighty contests rise from trivial things. We can clearly see that in the opening lines only, Pope himself, trying just told you that what this poem can be type of, and this poem is going to tell you what sort of things you are going to see through these poems. He just mentioned the purpose of this poem, that what he was writing this poetry of Rape of the Lock, and this couplet is important. I want you to remember this couplet. It is like, what dire offense from amorous causes springs, and what mighty contests rise from trivial things. See, through an audio clip or through an online lectures, it's not possible to go through line by line explanation. So I'll be just dealing with the summary of whole paragraph. I mean the very first canto of this poem. So it is basically 10 o'clock in the morning, but Belinda is the heroine of this poem, who is still asleep, and her guardian spirit, Ariel, that I have talked in the previous audio clips, that there are some names and gnomes, and his supernatural machineries have been mentioned through this poem. And who is the guardian spirit or guardian sylph of Belinda? It is Ariel, Ariel, the sylph causes her to continue sleeping so that he can pass a message on to her in a dream while Belinda is sleeping. And Ariel takes a form which Belinda will take notice of, that of a handsome young man such as she might meet at a birthday party, at a party she is going to visit very soon. And further, Ariel explains that Ariel is one of the spirits of which Belinda might have heard, that all such spirits really exist, and that They were once women, and a woman's personality in life determines what kind of a spirit she becomes after death, right? And bad-tempered women become spirits of fire. Please listen it carefully. A woman's personality in life determines what kind of spirit she becomes after the death. To simplify this, a bad-tempered woman become spirits of fire that has been called salamanders. Salamanders. Who are salamanders? Salamanders are women with bad temper who become spirits of fire. Those women are called salamanders. Those with soft yielding minds becomes spirit of water called nymph. Nimphs. Nymphs. And prudes becomes spirit of the earth that has been called gnomes. Prudes become spirits of the earth that has been called gnomes. Prudes, spelling of prudes is Prudes, prudes, and gnomes is spell out is Gnomes, gnomes. And flirtatious women become spirits of the air that call sylphs. Sylphs, sylphs. I repeat this whole paragraph again. A woman's personality in life determines what kind of spirit she becomes after death. Bad tempered women become spirits of fire called salamanders. Those women with soft yielding minds become spirits of water called nymphs. Prudes become spirits of the earth called gnomes. And flirtatious women become spirits of the air called sylphs. And further, Ariel goes on to explain that women can enjoy a close relationship with the sylphs who protect them, who provided that they remain virgins and do not think of mortal love. These are the some statements given by sylph of guardian sylph of Belinda, who is Ariel. And the sylph tells Belinda that he has appeared to her because he knows that something bad will happen to her before the end of the day. The sylph of Ariel can sense all these things, and Ariel is somewhere warning Belinda that there is something bad will happen to her before the day is going to get ended. However, Ariel doesn't know exactly what will happen to the young woman Belinda. So Ariel leaves her with the warning. He says, I quote from the Canto 1 line is, quote, beware of all, but most beware of man, unquote. Ariel says, beware of man, but most beware of, the quote was like, beware of all, but most beware of man, unquote. Now, listening all these things in her dream, Belinda is now woken up, and her when her dog Shock, 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 licks her face, she wakes up, and the first thing that she sees is a love letter is there on the table, which causes her to instantly forget the warning she received in the dream. What warning she has received in the dream? The Ariel warns her to beware of everything, but most importantly to beware of man. And as soon as she wakes up, she sees a letter is there on the dressing table of her, and she forgets everything that has been warned by the Ariel. And the first canto ends with a description of Belinda doing her hair and makeup in front of a mirror, which is likened to a priestess performing rituals for a goddess. Right? It was like the writer has given a plenty of time to Belinda to get prepared. Sorry, to get ready for the party. She just wakes up and goes to the dining table, goes to the washroom and gets prepared for the party. And what is there on the table? Firstly, he she sees there is a letter on the table, and then she forgets everything worn by Ariel. And the complete description of her dining table has been given in the first canto by Alexander Pope. He says that the reflection or the beauty she is carrying is out of the any par excellence, and the reflection shows her heavenly beauty is there, which is reflecting through the mirror. And she bends her head in order to examine the lower portion of her body, and then she raises her head in order to look at the upper portion of herself. And the inferior priestess, who is assist to Belinda, stands by the side of his sacred dressing table and trembles as she begins the sacred ceremony of dressing her proud mistress. Where we see the three characters are here in the first canto: and the, Belinda and Ariel is a spirit, and another one is a Betty. Betty is the assistants of Belinda who helps her to get ready for the party. And we see there are numerous caskets are opened and they reveal their precious contents which have been brought from different countries of the world and which may be regarded as the offerings of those countries at this shrine. From each casket, Betty, the maid, skillfully, and Betty is the maid of Belinda. That I just told to you that there was an assistant of Belinda by the name of Betty, who skillfully and with scrupulous labor selects some bright and precious article to decorate the goddess of beauty, who is Belinda. From one casket, Betty picks out the most brilliant pearls and diamonds of India. I want you to listen it carefully that from one casket, Betty picks out the most brilliant pearls and some diamonds of India, while from another, she chooses the perfumes of Arabia. And next, she examines the spotted combs made of tortoise shell and the milk white combs of ivory, which lie together. Then she turns her attention to the rows of shining pins, puffs, powders, patches, Bibles, and some love letters. These are some products that has been given priority in her vanity box. If I quote it from the Canto 1 itself, it is like lines number 132, 140, I guess. I read from the Canto 1. From each she nicely curls with curious toil, and decks the goddess with the glittering spoiled. This casket India's glowing gems unlocks, and all Arabia breathes from yonder box. The tortoise here and elephant unite, transferred to combs the speckled and the white. Here files of pins extend their shining rows, puffs, powders, patches, Bibles, billy dogs. Now awful beauty puts on all its arms, the fair each moment rises in her charms. And if I read further till the end of Canto first, it goes like: repairs her smiles, awakens every grace, and calls forth all the wonders of her face. Sees by degrees a purer blush arise, and keener lightnings quicken in her eyes. The busy sylphs surround their darling care. These set the head, and those divided the hair. Some fold the sleeve, whilst others plait the gown, and Betty's praised for labours not her own. Now we see that this beautiful and formidable lady wears different ornaments and cosmetics to enhance the effect of her beauty. And her splendid appearance appears to greater advantage every moment, and her smiles are rendered more winning, and her Native graces are greatly improved by an appropriate use of cosmetics that the description has given in the poem. And all the wonderful beauties of her face are augmented when her cheeks are skillfully wrought. When she blushes without any, uh, you know, any deep help, or her eyelashes are superbly penciled so as to give to her glances the quality of lightning. And the sylphs who were surrounding her, the sylphs who surrounded her, as all they are busy in adjusting her hair, and some are busy in arranging her hair. And she's the darling of these sylphs, and she is the object of their utmost attention. And some of them are busy folding her sleeve, while others fold her gown. While the sylphs have largely contributed to the ultimate result, it is Betty who receives Belinda's thanks for helping her. Belinda thinks that it is Betty, her assistant, who is helping her, who is making her more beautiful. But the actual thing is there were so many invisible seals who were preparing Belinda in that way that she was looking. And the result was ultimate. She was looking wonderful or marvelously beautiful. So here our first canto ended. We have seen in this canto the how the writer invokes the moves of poetry, Carilope, and how the description of some scenes. And one more thing I would like to tell you, that it can be a question, it can be a tricky question if someone is going to ask that in which line you see the description of Ariel, who was a guardian spirit of Belinda. In which line you see the description of Ariel, in which line these guardians will talk about. The description of Ariel has been given in the line number 106. Yes, the text of Canto 1 from Rape of the Lock, the line number 106, where we see Ariel introduces himself by saying, I quote from the text, a watchful sprite, and Ariel is my name. A watchful sprite, and Ariel is my name. Late as I arrange the crystal wheels of air in the clear mirror of thy ruling star. Unquote. These are the lines where we see the description of Ariel. And in this paragraph further, we have seen the description of Shock also. Shock was dog of Belinda, right? So I have told you the important quotations or the important couplets from the text. I have described you the complete canto 1. I don't think you need to go here and there for the summary or for the explanation of this canto 1. All the important things I have been summarized or I have been shared with you through this audio clip. Thank you so much.